ID boarding pass. Brother, boarding pass. Right on. Have a good flight. Thank you. ID boarding pass. Brother, you had all this time for bringing out your boarding pass and your ID. You have a passport? Only need one. Only need one. Look at me. Look at me. The how's his horses?
They're good.
Still under refurbishment.
Hurry up, bro. I gotta go.
If you want to go, relax. If you want to go, you can go in the back of the line.
One of Hawaii's rising comedians is Tumua Tuinei. He has been blowing up since December 2020, including 3 sold-out shows at the Blaisdell concert. As of February 2022, he is embarking on a national tour. He will be bringing his style of comedy not only to the other Hawaiian islands, but to the mainland, including states like California, Arizona, Washington, and Utah. Much congratulations to Tumua Tuinei. Fortunately, I've had the opportunity to talk to Tumua Tuinei about comedy and PC culture. Tumua, how did you start out in comedy?
I actually got into comedy from a stand-up comedy class at UH. So I majored in communicology and I minored in theater. And in the theater department, they had a stand-up comedy class. And I took it just for an easy A. I took it with a fellow teammate of mine. And I ended up, really enjoying it and loving it. And for our final presentation, we had to perform 10 minutes in front of a live audience at Anna O'Brien's, which is a Irish pub bar in downtown. And when I did that, I killed it. I did great. And then from there on, I haven't stopped since. So it's been about 5 years of doing stand-up comedy.
And how would you describe your style of comedy?
I'd say it's observational and just the things that I deal with from the day-to-day basis. It's really aimed towards my crowd, which is local audience. I keep it clean, I try not to I don't curse or talk about sex or any taboo subjects. I try to keep that off the stage and off the camera. And the reason why is because you can have more people watching it, more people coming to your shows. And I want everyone to, feel comfortable and feel safe that they can bring their whole family. I learned that from the local greats like Andy Bumatai and Augie T. Those 2 guys always kept it clean, and nothing wrong with going dirty in comedy. But I mean, I personally enjoy just doing clean comedy and making the show for everyone.
I think clean comedy is an unsung hero of all the genres of comedy. There's a lot of potential in clean comedy that often goes unnoticed.
Yeah. It's a big, family state, especially the keiki, I mean, it's good. It's good to be a role model in Hawaii, and I got kids coming to my shows and they look up to me. So trying to be a good role model for them and just make it enjoyable for everyone. And you can, I want people to come to my shows and only realize at the end that I was clean, because I mean, I don't want to be like a super G-rated comic and, just like a kid's clown, but he can still be funny and not curse. I mean, there's other comedians like Gabriel Iglesias, Brian Regan, Jim Gaffigan. Those are all big time comics and they're all squeaky clean. And you don't realize that until the end of the show. And you're like, oh yeah, he didn't even say one F word, so it's possible. And it's just basically your own opinion, your own style.
What do you say makes comedy in Hawaii stand out from other places?
I think it's just our ethnic backgrounds. We have a mix variety of races here. I'm sure you know that, and it started off way back in the plantation days, and that's the reason why we created Pidgin or Hawaiian Creole English. Because of all the different races we had during the plantation days. We had the Hawaiians, the Japanese, the Koreans, Samoans, Chinese, and then the Portuguese were the Paniolos. I don't know if you heard about that, but they were the guys on the horses, and they was pretty much demanding everything. And I don't know if they were police officers, but they would monitor the plantation workers and all that. So that's a theory, is that why there's so many, Portuguese jokes, or why the Portuguese are the butt of the jokes, is because all those, the Hawaiians, the Chinese, the Japanese, Filipinos, they all were teasing the Paniolos, the Portuguese. So that's how the whole theory started with that. Yeah. Yeah, they're on horses and pretty much like, the boss of the plantation workers. So, and then from there, like, it's like there's so many different races that are in Hawaii, and we would like tease each other on it. So some people may think it's racist, but that's just the local style. I think it's only racist if you just pick on one specific race. But if you tease each race, it's fine. But yeah, that I would say that's Hawaii comedy. It's different than the mainland comedy, because there's some things that, like, I would, like, if I make fun of Chinese people, I don't think I could say that in the mainland, unless I'm Chinese, right? But I feel like in Hawaii, we get a green light, I would say. But it is in a playful way. It's not like we're full on being racist to them, but that's what's different than Hawaii comedy, is we just pick on each other and very playful, and we all can laugh about it.
So what does being politically correct mean to you?
I guess just what's morally right, and just kind of being on the safe side, of things. Like I said, the two main things that I try to stay away from comedy, other than just not being dirty, is I don't like to talk about like religion or politics, because I feel like those two will divide and start chaos, or the last thing you want to do is to get canceled, right? But the only thing I talk about in politics is David Ige. So I guess just just being on the safe side. I feel like it's easier for me and other comics like Augie T, because we're clean comedians, so we don't really talk about taboo subjects, and we stay away from all those things. And the last thing you want to do now is to get canceled, and it's probably the easiest now, because there's phones everywhere, and social media is huge. So you say one little thing, boom, it can spread like wildfire, So I guess it's just to be safe.
So does cancel culture exist?
Yeah, it does. It's just a new day and age. You just gotta adapt to it. I don't think there's anything we can do, because there is some jokes that I like personally I said before and I can't say anymore, even though I'm a clean comic. It's just it wouldn't fit right now. And the part of that is just adapting to the new culture, I guess. Like, you got to just deal with it. Even like if you watch Eddie Murphy's Raw special on Netflix, and you listen to all the things he said, if he said that today, he would totally get canceled. But it's different. That back then was a different time and age, and you just got to evolve, just like how technology is evolving. You got to evolve with your humor and evolve with what you say on television or in public. Yeah, you gotta adjust it a little bit. But like, the thing, I feel like comedy is kind of an exception, because it's comedy. They're not going to take you serious, but it is the only form of public speaking that you can pretty much say whatever you want, and you wouldn't get that much bashed on. But you still would. Like, I mean, look at Dave Chappelle. He had a whole big cancel allegation conspiracy thing because of his last special. But then again, people got to realize that in the end, it's just a comedy show, right? Like, he's not serious of what he's really saying. He just wants to make you laugh, make you feel shocked, make you think. And I feel like he got that done. But that's why comedy's different. Like, it's, if a console person, like, speaking of Augie T, if he says something during his political standpoint, then that can be used for like some cancel culture. But if he says it as a comedian, then it's different, but he's both. So it kind of puts him in between, and it's tough. I give him props for doing those two things. But comedy is pretty much the only platform you can pretty much say whatever you want.
So then are Dave Chappelle's jokes just jokes?
I think it's just jokes. I mean, I don't have anything against the transgender community, but I do know like some of the transgender community were supporting Dave Chappelle too, because in the end, it's just a comedy show. But if you really like watch his special and from the beginning to the end, he kind of makes it a full circle, and he doesn't really. I don't know if he I gotta watch it again. But like he made it come out in a good way, you know, and rather than he didn't end on a bitter taste in your mouth. He played it well. I mean, he's a professional, you know. And have you seen the special? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of people. He did say some shocking things. I mean, some things I wouldn't say because that's just not my style of comedy. But that is his style of comedy, and he's a professional. He's been doing it for years, so I think he knows what he's doing. But if you watch it from start to finish, you would probably see like what he did there and made it full circle and kind of ended it on a better higher note than some of the things he said in the beginning of the special. So a lot of people don't know that they just see the bad parts and they just start bashing him, but they got to watch the whole thing, you know.
So then his jokes aren't necessarily punching down.
Yeah, he wasn't punching down entirely, but I do understand like from the transgender community why they would get upset. So I'm not picking sides or anything, but I personally think that Dave Chappelle was just joking and that's just his style of comedy. But I mean, I wouldn't do that personally.